Idle fees or parking fines? That is the question. The question at hand is whether to implement idle fees or parking fines in EV charging spots. Now, this issue has been widely discussed as both EV and internal combustion engine vehicle owners have been using charging spots as parking spaces, leading to a shortage of available spots for EVs to actually charge at. Now, currently, Tesla charge idle fees after a short grace period of about 5 minutes once your vehicle has finished charging. In Australia, it's about a $1 Australian per minute. So it can actually work out to be much more expensive than the actual charge you put into the car. And this is usually only charged if half or more of the stalls are in use. Now, as yet in Australia, I don't know of any other chargers or charging companies that do this, but if you do know, please let me know in the comments below. And I'm recording this in April 2023. So the benefits of charging idle fees are that it can free up charging stalls for the benefit of other electric vehicle owners. And this is certainly important during busy holiday periods. We've just had Easter and there was a lot of EVs travelling around and there were some queues at EV chargers during these periods. But similarly, there have also been queues at petrol stations during these busy holiday periods. And there's been a nice long queue waiting to fill up with fuel. So it's not just EVs, but, you know, this threat of idle fees will make EV owners move their cars once they've finished charging. After all, it's actually the threat of losing money that spurs people into action. We've got speeding fines and parking fines and all sorts of fines to try and make people's behaviour a bit more amenable. Idle fees may also provide the charging company with some additional funds that might help in the maintenance of these stations, and there's usually quite a few that are broken, as well as the possibility of expanding the number of stations. But idle fees can't be charged if the EV didn't plug in the first place. Some people just use the EV charging point as an EV parking spot, and I've seen that happen so many times. Similarly, for ICE vehicles, when they're parking in charging spots, you can't charge them idle fees. So, what do you do there? Well, this is where parking fines are a good idea. Now, I know over in New South Wales, I think it is, they've instituted parking fines for people parking in designated electric vehicle charging bays. And that's whether you're an EV or not. If you're parked there and not charging, you will be fined. And it's quite substantial. It's currently at about $2,200 Australian. Now, that's quite a steep fine. And I believe in the ACT it's even higher. We could do with a few more places like that. So this should discourage both EV owners and ICE owners from becoming EV holes or ICE holes. Once again, the threat of losing finances will help adjust the behaviour of these people. The problem with this is that you need to have a parking inspector pass by to dish out the ticket or some way of reporting it. Now, there is the SnapSend Solve app, which may be applicable, but I don't believe that all local authorities currently support it. But it is useful for reporting not only parking infringements, but other issues such as abandoned vehicles and so on. So if you're interested in doing that, go to your online store for Apple or Google and download a copy and see if you can use it. So we've got idle fees that will penalise EV owners that overstay their welcome after charging. And then there are parking fines to combat both ICE holds and EV holds alike. But which one do we need? Well, what about both? Yes, both. We have a shortage of EV charging spots that are getting abused by EV owners. See my rant on PlugShare. I've done quite a bit on PlugShare, and that does help. But these people that park there decrease the number of EV charging spots that are already decreased because of the lack of repair that a lot of chargers are suffering from. So, once again, I'll come back to my rant, and you can see the link to that up here on PlugShare. Now, as you can see here, there's a map of the southwest of Western Australia, and it looks fairly populated. But I've got to tell you that a large portion of those are not working. Certainly down in the southwest, there was quite a few DC fast chargers over the Easter weekend that were broken. So that does make life very hard. And then if you go to the ones that are working and you park there, well, it just screws it all up for everybody else. But there are some people that abuse the system, and we need some sort of financial incentive to educate them. Now, with that PlugShare app that I've mentioned, and I know I keep going on about it, but I do think it's fairly important. So just a few days ago, I went to my local shopping centre. I parked there. There was already a Tesla parked at the one Tesla destination charger, but there's also one Type 1 charger there. So I parked there. I've got an adapter and I plugged my car in. We were both registered on PlugShare. I was going to be about an hour, and the Tesla that was already there was also going to be there for about another hour. So I went off and I started doing my shopping. I'd finished in one shop. I came out and my phone gave me a notification. PlugShare message. One of the advantages of registering on PlugShare. Somebody messaged me to say he was there. He's only got a Type 1 plug that he can use. He can't use the Tesla because he hasn't got a Tesla. And that the Tesla that was there has gone. But he hadn't logged out. He was still logged in for another half an hour. So I went up, moved my car onto the Tesla charger, plugged it in, and the guy with the non-Tesla was more than happy. I went back, was doing my shopping, just about finished, and I looked at the app, and there was a Tesla that was listed as waiting. So I messaged the guy, I'll be up in a few minutes. Went up, and he was sitting there waiting. I unplugged, moved my car, and he got in. Look, it just makes life easier for all EV owners. So what do you think about idle fees and parking fines? Do you think they're a good idea? I do. And I think we should have both. Idle fees and parking fines. What do you think's a reasonable amount? Now, Tesla here charges $1 a minute after about a 5-minute grace period. Is that about right? What about the $2,200 parking fine for parking and not charging? Does that seem a bit steep, or do you think that financial incentive is good? Make some comments below, please, and let me know what you think. Thanks very much for watching. Please don't forget to click that like and subscribe button below. It costs you nothing, but it does help motivate me and help the channel. And I'll see you all very soon.